Well, a very different type of drug story now, because the amount of medicine prescribed to sufferers of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, in England has risen by more than 50% in the last 6 years. The Care Quality Commission says the increase is due to more people being diagnosed with the condition. But there's also a warning that the drugs used to treat ADHD are being used by students to improve their performance at university, as our Home Affairs correspondent Darshna Soni reports.
Their exams are out of the way and it's time to relax and enjoy the summer break for these students here in Cambridge. But there's a warning that some are turning to more potentially dangerous ways of coping with academic stress. Research suggests a growing number of students are using medication to improve their concentration and boost performance. Drugs like Ritalin, usually used to treat ADHD, which can improve short-term memory. Professor Barbara Sahakian is a neuroscientist who has studied the effects of the drug on the adult brain.
They're frequently passing them around in libraries for the competitive edge. They just like to do that bit better in the exams, and maybe their exam papers will be marked higher and so forth.
Figures from the Care Quality Commission show prescriptions for methylphenidate drugs like Ritalin have increased from 420,000 6 years ago to 657,000 last year. That's a rise of more than 50%. The watchdog says it thinks the rise is due to more people being diagnosed with ADHD, but it warns that there's also potential for the drugs to be misused. And it's that potential misuse which is worrying academics. A recent study suggested that as many as 1 in 10 students here in Cambridge had taken the so-called smart drugs. But this raises all sorts of ethical questions. Do these pupils have an unfair advantage? And should there be random testing before exams? We spoke to numerous students who said anecdotally they'd heard that the drugs were easy to obtain online, even without a prescription.
Online, I think it's quite popular.
And is it mainly for what? For students to help with exams, or?
I think there is quite a lot of pressure from exams on students, so I imagine that's why.
I suppose it's similar to kind of like steroids in sports, I'd imagine. If it does help you focus, then I suppose it is advantageous.
So you've heard of students taking them, what, to help with stress or to keep them more alert?
Yeah, I think it's mainly to do with concentration, in terms of if you have to study for a long period of time, like 8 hours or something, or you have an exam the next day. I think it's just to do with keeping your concentration levels up.
Although using these drugs may seem like a quick-term fix, the CQC has warned today that very little is known about the long-term risks. Darshna Soni, Channel 4 News, Cambridge.
And our fact-check team have been looking into the figures to ask whether we as a nation are getting hooked on Ritalin. Read their findings on channel4.com/factcheck.